However, to his father he was no different. Besides being a money-making tool. And now it's an obedience machine. Nothing more, nothing less. Suddenly in the air. Constantly switching to sirens and loudspeaker sounds. Notification. There was a dungeon overflow near the mall. The guilds are sending conquerors. So in the immediate future, people will be evacuated according to instructions. Dungeon overflow is a chaotic phenomenon. When monsters escape from a dungeon, has not been explored for a certain period of time. The scene is extremely chaotic. Only his father remained calm as usual. He said, "You were a genius. Hold the future of the whole South Korea in your hands. If you get hurt here, you will be at a disadvantage during the entrance ceremony at Mu. There's no need for you to participate here." Hone knew his father was right. Like thinking about ordinary people. Then you can't ignore it. So I ran after him. Calls to the heart to help people. Shown for the first time. Hone started running like crazy to the shopping center. Who would have thought that as soon as they arrived, they would meet a gawping animal? Oh no, the whole gawping house oven is there. Hone stopped dead on the spot with a look. Their faces were as pale as their skin color. Or not. Can I go back to this country at the wrong time? Unfortunately, it's too late. The crowd had just seen their prey approaching. Immediately howled. Then they ran together to attack the person in front of them. The first time Hone encountered this scene, he just stood rooted to the spot. Even running away is no longer possible. At a moment when life and death were narrow. Then the ninja Hun suddenly landed from above to save the day. As soon as they met, he spoke first. "Are you in Hone?" A few minutes ago, when he brought the stone out from the treasure dungeon. Immediately ran into Hannah. Everything seemed to be enough, so he asked her to return with him. Unexpectedly, midway, heard the emergency announcement about the dungeon overflow again. No need to think. Ninja Hun immediately broke the glass door. Shopping mall. Then it was like retribution fell on their heads. It's time to visit thousands. He immediately started activating it. Logic and summoning holy arrows at the same time. To destroy the monsters. While you move. Immediately landed on the head of a gawping. Not only that, he also just saved that guy's life. Miza Hun didn't think about it. The fact that I will meet the unfortunate genius here. Just tell him to come help me. A moment. Suddenly, a green monster suddenly attacked. Hone shouted the announcement. But he knew well that there was something behind him. Should calmly control. The lightning chain pierced its body. Seeing the person opposite, he just looked stupid. Looking together with shaky legs. He was frustrated and urged. We can't let monsters get close. Go to more crowded places. He was going to just stand there forever. Why don't you pick up your weapons and fight? This situation is a bit dramatic. Thousands of words of encouragement. It's not as good as a piece of advice from someone you rely on. Hoan's fear suddenly disappeared just because of that sentence. Revealing a fiery look full of fighting spirit. Confront the oncoming crowd. Ninja Hun immediately spoke up and directed provocations. You know how to use it, right? Prepare to provoke the monsters around here. Try not to miss any. You have to lure as many as possible. Hone heard that and immediately understood the problem. He followed suit and took out his shield and sword. Then perform the move. There is a fierce voice that provokes the summoning of warriors. Attracts the attention of monsters standing within a 50 m radius. Because of this attack and magic are reduced by 30. But, in return, it is extremely effective in luring the enemy. The kissing ninja glanced at him and thought to himself. Provocative cry. Is a high-level move. More than the usual provocation. Indeed, talented people always have their own path. In a previous life, the unfortunate genius just stopped at B rank. You don't know if he has mental problems. Or is there another problem? But contrary to the popularity now, that performance will decrease very quickly. Back to the main story. Ninja Hun stood in the back. Execute long-range lightning attack skills. Hone plays the role of warrior. Invite close combat. The stabber and slasher struggled. After a while, it didn't take long. The two of you finished cleaning up the monsters, right before the conquerors arrived. A while after the battle ended, then a brother appeared. He introduced himself as Parky Ong-hun, coming from the National Conquest Bureau headquarters. Originally, he was sent here to clean up this mess. Who would have thought that the two boys were quicker? Raise your upper hand. They did it so quickly. Now he's real. Don't know how to report. To avoid having to hear the words salary deduction anymore. Ninja Hun. Initially, the plan was to push the results to the department. But he refused to listen. The person who just arrived kept talking back. He just had to say it. Just give him my share. Then keep the fact that I'm here a secret. Who would have thought that now it was Hoan's turn to protest? Ninja Hun has no other choice. I can only say that I have my own reasons. But we can't let ourselves have great power spread to many people's ears. Before his resurrection, he was just an anonymous warrior. So I don't get attention from my father Min Sien-o. However, the situation is different now. If it were revealed that he voluntarily switched to studying magic, then your old man will definitely come and destroy you. He planned his revenge. Therefore, it is necessary to hide your whereabouts carefully. Then gradually train to get stronger. Wait until you get a chance. Then he will immediately appear and take revenge. Let him know how. Ninja Hun's retribution saw Hone hesitate, then decided to speak up and advise. Remember, you did a lot of work. If you hesitate, you will. Someone has to go to the altar and sit. So don't think you're not worthy anymore. The Lord drives the chickens. The king of creditors. Just breathe out a few sentences. It was enough to convince the young man. Listen to me. Hone, after thinking of his mother, immediately relieved his burden. Accept your extra share. And promise that later when the opportunity arises, I will definitely repay this favor. The matter of receiving the reward has been resolved. Ninja Hun returned to school. To prepare for the first day of school. To spoil the happy atmosphere of the new recruits. The school principal immediately approached the podium to speak. Then he spoke up to announce the draw. My favorite teacher is the principal of a school named Guja-in. Now we will celebrate the opening ceremony of Music's Academy. An opener like opening a card. He completely flipped the content and jumped straight to the ending. Teacher's speech. This is the end. You must know. Mu Academy's opening ceremony. There is a very special event. A game where all the students will gather and try to steal his friend's name tag. We will begin the hunt for new students. Right now the principal has just finished speaking. A magic circle immediately appeared under their feet. The whole hall quickly sank into chaos. Her best friend, Kim Jo-dung, was unsteady on her feet, then accidentally fell down. Miza Hun saw this and immediately ran to help you. Unexpectedly, they all fell into a forest. And the unfortunate person who got caught up was a magical genius. Seo Aina with Talent 92. The new soldier hunt takes place on an artificial semi-planet. Created by magic. In this space, participants can do things that are impossible in reality, like manipulating time or eliminating gravity. In the air, the principal's face was zoomed in. The close-up begins to explain the rules. Within the range of the semi-planet, you can use skills of rank C or lower, and get a name tag when you will get points. When a senior gets the first year's name tag, then you will receive 10,000 points. Otherwise, first year will get 100,000 points. You can use these points anywhere in the academy, so take as much as you can. Saying this, he smiled, gradually losing humanity, then said, all skills will be reduced to 110th of their strength, so there's no need to worry too much. The ninja frowned in disdain. The rules of the game are vague like this. It's clear. Trying to filter out those considered useless. Here you turn around and tell Yu Young to follow you. They have to stay here for 3 days. So you need to find a place to rest first. Suddenly, Kim Jo-young whispered to him to ask Seo-ina to come along. Because according to her analysis, so that cold girl is in the same family as them. So if there are more people it will be better. Of course you know that. However, Seo-ina's anger is very scary. In his previous life he had heard of a case. She just lost control for a minute, which has endangered many people. So even in the present, he also didn't want to mess with someone who had hostile eyes. And don't trust that teammate. While Kim Jo-young ran away, convinced Seo-ina to join their team, then suddenly two more strangers appeared. They came like the wind. The son is Shin Jun-sang, and the girl is Kago Sol. They just saw three people. He immediately expressed his attitude as if he had just grabbed a delicious deal. Looks like we'll get points easily this year. What, I can only detect two people. Kang-so Saitso. Because she really doesn't feel it. Your presence here. But Ninja Hun was able to recognize the two of them early on. As far as he could remember, that girl has a very special ability. Allows her to find the target within 300 kilometers. You heard right, the truth is 300 kilometers. Once she's here, if you three don't defeat them, then they will also gather others. Hunt down and attack you guys. Different from that girl who always shows a shy attitude. The big guy Jun-sang is quite contemptuous. He thought the group was in front of him. After all, he's only a freshman. So immediately draw your sword and rush forward. Yet as soon as he saw it, the Ninja Hun avoided the first sword strike. Then he froze because he couldn't believe it. But he still believes that just because he was lucky. So keep aiming. It was you who slashed so hard. The ninja was not in a hurry to fight back. Instead, he leaned back to avoid him. Wait until his face turns pale. When you're covered in cold sweat, use your bare hands. Catch the blade. You're so cool, Shin Jun-sang. How can you survive with this body? After saying that, he immediately used force to break the sword. Then he threatened his third-year senior. Right in front of everyone. If you give me your name tag, they'll let you go. They'll give you 3 seconds to put your name tag on and go away, Mom. Shin Jun's face turned as pale as pork liver. In my head. He wondered, after all, this is just a new person. Why bother? Look at him with eyes like a superior. Looking down like that. The opponent still did not make any movement. At the end of the day, he could only say a few final words. Don't say I don't give you a chance. Because you don't grasp it. As soon as the words finished, a punch immediately fell. Ninja Hun just waved his hand but gently, making Shin Jun-sang the first person to be picked up. News panel of player Shin Jun-sang being eliminated. Quickly displayed on the notification panel. But that's not surprising either. Until the name Minza Hun was shown. It immediately surprised everyone. In the control room, the principal's group of people rushed to the direction. The tour guide named Yong Jisoo was the first to speak. Wait, it's not Ionian but Min Ja-hun. Most of them don't know who you are. But it can be so outstanding. As for the principal, he was always silent. With a smile full of excitement. Turned back to the Ninja Hun side. After taking down the first guy, he immediately spoke quickly to Kim Jo-young. Yu-young gets ready to go. The remaining ones must be dealt with. I will send you an invitation to join the team for you to accept immediately. Hearing that, the two girls followed suit and took out their weapons. Ready to fight at any time.
Show ines genius.
Ninja Hun is a monster. So the only person Kago Sol can attack is just Kim Jo-young. She used the speed of an assassin to dash forward, determined to defeat this first year as quickly as possible. Who would have thought that Yu-young would catch his speed? You should promptly create a barrier. Avoid her assassination attack. Kagun's soul hasn't even made it yet. Suddenly, the magical chain reached out to attack. After that response, Yu-young continued to create a barrier, determined not to let the enemy have a chance to harm you. Both attack and defense firmly. This is it. Holy shit, Kago Sol knows how to fight. His holy light sword. The spell after chanting. In space, countless swords immediately appeared. Floating suspended. That is SEO-Ina's most special skill, although it has not yet reached the upper level. But just a second later, all are aimed directly at Kagosol, which flew in all at once. Until the moment he left, he looked like he had been pierced into several holes. She just realized a problem. That's not just one here, and there are up to 3 monsters. Another player is on the counting board. Notification system due to contributions. So the score is divided in half for both Jo Young and Ina. Now she never smiles. Suddenly reminded of what happened earlier. Your previous offer still stands. The ninja took a deep breath. And so, the 3-monster formation. Just like that, it was born. At a location called Nightmare Forest. A group of players. Examining someone's footprints. Leave one person to comment. There are traces of people passing by. It looked like they had taken shelter. Tell the others not to go. If you're looking for more, just pay attention and observe around here. The warning had only been given not long ago. Then one person in the group made an appointment. The main culprit is Kim Jo Young. She just earned her points. Then she immediately started running away. Not only that, he happily encouraged them. You guys are like dogs chasing bones. And go in groups of so many people. Don't you feel ashamed? Call you then call. A group of young people were driven crazy. Immediately aggressively chased after him. She was determined to catch someone. Just looking at it is enough to see that Yu Young is clearly the bait. Before that, the 3 of them had planned together. Because the competition takes place over 3 days. So it's imperative to find food and especially earn points. Their plan is to hunt these seniors. Kim Jo Young lured the crowd to the area. Planned in advance. Don't forget to gently kick some poisonous mushrooms nearby. Wait until it is in the correct position. Then immediately use the skill called Strong Wind. Then run away as fast as possible. The system sends a red warning. You have entered the environment of paralyzing spore fungi. The young man knows he has it. The donkey suddenly stopped walking and discussed with each other. See if you should continue chasing or not. Dain Hai you see is the person who has the most grudge against Kim Ju Dung. So as soon as you hear 1 point, the team advises you to give up. Because this place was very dangerous, he shouted loudly and got angry. Hey, Kim Jong-hoon was defeated by a newbie. What are you thinking when you say such nonsense? Just thinking about everyone's safety. That young man and another person. Required to stay outside the toxic range. To keep watch. The rest, along with Dewey knew why, continued to chase. He knew full well this was a trap. However, that girl is the most male after all. And he thought he was more than capable of defeating him. The whole group ran forever and finally arrived. Kim Jo Young is standing in the middle of an empty space. Under my feet are all spores that cause paralysis. She was delighted, because they chased me here. So I encouraged him one last time. Your life is over. Who dares to curse me? Raise your hand. I was so angry that I lost my wits. 3. The young men all rushed forward because of this one sentence. I conveniently placed my wand on one hand. A notification immediately appeared on the mushroom in front of me. A paralytic spore mushroom exploded. All creatures within 50 m will be paralyzed within 2 hours. Remember a few minutes ago, while the ninja Hun was standing and collecting sap from the ash tree. You told the 2 girls you were paying attention to, right? This event. Very beneficial for close combat warriors. Seo Ina nodded in agreement. Only use skills of level C or below. It's also a disadvantage. For those who depend mainly on high skills, just like the magicians, warriors use a lot of strength. Plus their low-level skills are quite strong. So this rule is proposed. It's no different from eliminating magicians from the academy. In real time, just saw the bright light ahead. I'm a ninja, I know. My time to go on the floor has come. Meanwhile, Kim Jo Young, after causing a series of mushrooms to explode, then immediately used the skill called permutation. Changed the position of the male lead. Ninja Hun just appeared, Immediately his foot landed directly on the face of the young man Jihi, making him fall down. Obviously a senior. But being acted upon by a group of 5 is like an unborn child. The guy angrily spoke harshly. You can already catch us, you idiot. I've also entered the area of fungal spores that cause paralysis. He even bragged that, have considered this before. You should leave a few members of the school outside. Just stomach dissipation. They will come to support the people here immediately. But he's too naive. Because I don't know. I've hit a trio of monsters. Ninja Hun extinguished his hope with just one sentence. Makes you 7 disappointed. But that guy can't come. Jihi still doesn't understand why. Then there was a big explosion, accompanied by a 7-bar scream transmitted to the board. System. Immediately send a message to the remaining players. That Hun Ninja Trio, Kim Jo-young and Seo Aina just got 100,000 points. Jihi is so stupid. Still don't know what's about to happen to me. His whole body was stubborn. But my mouth keeps talking like a jumping shrimp. Just wait another 2 hours and see. We will definitely overturn the bet. Once the paralysis poison wears off. Just being alone is enough. Ninja Hun looked disdainful as if nothing happened. Take a leisurely step. By the time he recognized the person in front of him. I am not affected by the fungus at all. Spores are too late. Ninja Hun just stomping his foot is enough. Causing him to die immediately. Looking towards the remaining 3 people. With a fading smile. Humanity, he muttered. Just one sentence is more than enough. Makes them scared and want to squirm in their pants. Wow, I only have 3 lives left. 3. The scary name keeps appearing on the system board. So fast. Making everyone sweat. Soon the new recruit rankings were available. And of course Ninja Kissing ranked number 1. While the remaining 2 members are tied for 2nd place. In an era where magicians were a profession, not taken seriously, group of ninjas Hun when not, taking the top spot again, while martial arts genius, that everyone believes in, only ranked 4th. Several tour guides and principals didn't expect this at all. Some people even blame the faulty system. That's why the score was calculated wrongly like that. The principal's face showed a perverted look. Usually there are only conquerors of the warrior type. Only being able to perform like that. The current situation he was watching. It's a group of magicians that are destroying their seniors. To take the top spot. It's truly an extremely absurd thing but very interesting. Gaia-in requested a tour guide named Kim John. Rewind to where the spore fungus causes paralysis. Let me see it again. The image of Ninja Hun kicking Ji-hee in the face immediately recurred. The principal silently began to plan and calculate. Judgment skills and grit. Being in a situation like that. Plus the ability to defeat a person in the martial arts class. I can't believe there is such a magician. Oh no, I can't believe it. Yet he is a new student. At this time another person came and said, information about Ninja Hun has been collected 10 times. However, it's a bit confusing. Don't know if those things are true or not. Guja-in took the document himself to check. Look at the magic potential number of 97. He was truly speechless. A moment later, the new guy smiled full of intrigue and praised him well. At the same time, tell your subordinates that. Want to test this student a bit. Then tell them to plan something. It's interesting. Return to the 3 wizards holding the top spot. Ninja Hun told everyone. Would you like to move with me to another place? The seniors are very afraid of this forest. But when the group was about to leave, then the Ninja Hun discovered someone was coming. A blinding flash of light flashed, followed by a long wound, causes the ground to split into 2. The group of people on the principal's side. Announcements have begun to be made. The originally set limits will be disabled. From now on, they can do whatever they want. As long as they destroy their opponents, it's fine. He knew something bad was happening. So seriously look towards the person who just arrived and speak. I don't think We meet again like this. Ahian suddenly wasn't just him. The other two people also discovered something unusual. Amangyan looks very strange. Seems crazy. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Ninja Hun heard Seo Ina say that. Just remembered something. In a previous life, a similar thing happened. At the News Academy Festival. Some practitioners were brainwashed and started attacking everyone. The reason why that happened, it was because of the principal's natural skills. His wrongdoings were punished. When brought to light, it becomes clear. Become angry and commit a horrifying crime to create a distraction. Broken disappears. Kim Jo-young died protecting him. But I didn't expect him to be such a whore. Start now. Suddenly a side quest was sent. It asks you to save Hone within 2 hours. The main reward is a counter card. Used to copy skills. The blank card arrived just in time. Ninja Hun happily told the remaining 2 people. You should quickly leave here. And if possible while running. Please get me some more points. Look at his confident face. Seo Ina also felt somewhat more secure. She said she would obey and prepared to leave. Yu Young is different. At first she was easy to resist. Refused to leave him alone. But when I saw the 2 of them, they were both like that. Then there is no other way. Besides grabbing the other girl by the neck. Pull away as fast as possible. The Bonbio is gone. And now comes the battle of men. Authentic. Hoang sent a long slash in his direction. Next, immediately move closer. Then swing a second line at speed. And the power was enough to make him panic. Mijahu jumped high to avoid it. His foot was just placed on the shield to temporarily borrow points for landing. Immediately he was thrown away by Ho Yeong. Acceleration skill is active. A line of text appeared immediately afterward. Immediately see. Since when have ninjas been so close to their opponents? It doesn't stop there. He continued to circle behind his opponent. But as soon as he appeared, he was discovered. Ninja Hun was a bit panicked. Because Ho Ian's body reacts very quickly. In spite of, his eyes had not yet caught his movements. Turns out this match wasn't as easy as he thought. Miza Hun started calculating. In your mind you can beat Hoong. But if you do it too fast, then the old guy standing behind won't be happy. Logic begins to release. With this overwhelming power, Ho Ian couldn't resist for long. He immediately fell to his knees because he lost strength. At the moment those who stood from afar observed the battle. Being impatient, want to know, how will a martial arts genius be defeated by a monster? Then the screen suddenly flashed white. Because he ate a flash bomb. Guja In angrily grabbed the remote and pressed it repeatedly. But it's all cameras. They all have the same white frame. He angrily broke the remote control. Then turned to talk to tour guide Kim Suk. This is a sultry ninja student. After the event ends. Then call him to my office. At the moment he was about to admonish the principal. Then I received an unpleasant attitude from him. Why do you think? The Ninja Hun used magic again. To block our vision. In a situation where he could clearly win. Him. Know how to make yourself make others more curious. That was after slapping the principal's face really hard. Now you go to Ho Ian. Then put your hand on his head. And erase the brainwashing effect. That young man. As soon as he regained consciousness, he quickly stood up. Unexpectedly, my body felt like it was broken. Immediately fell down and broke out screaming even though it was 7 miles. Ninja Hun saw that and immediately went to explain and apologize. Just now he suddenly attacked me again. So I have to be a little more aggressive. Look at his bewildered face. He had to speak clearly again. It's a type of mind control magic. Hearing this, Hone suddenly remembered the principal from before. There was a call to my place. But he still didn't understand anything. So everything turned out like this. One person lies down. One person sits. Talk to each other for a while longer. Then the Ninja Hun stood up. Prepare to leave. But before he left, Hone threw his name tag at him. The ninja Hun asked, wondering what he was doing. If you don't have a name tag, you will be disqualified. And when he heard that, he happily replied that it was okay. I'm not as good as you, but I still have a lot of points. Besides, I lost to you, so it's only right to give it to you. This time I lost. But next time, I will definitely defeat you and get your name tag back. After Hon finished speaking, he just disappeared. As for the ninja Hun, this is essentially a very special victory. In his previous life, it was the person who made him dream, want to become a warrior, right from childhood. Today you were also recognized by that person. What a yomost feeling. The 3-day hunt had finally ended. All students are returned to the real world. Take attendance and receive rewards. Even though he is the son of a rich family. But when listening, Ninja Hun said that the top 3 will be awarded one. The amount is equivalent to the amount of points earned. Kim Jo-young happily grabbed Seo Ina, dancing like two crazy people among so many people. Stare at them with envious eyes. While having fun, the principal's henchman, tour guide Kim Suk, came over, then asked the 3 of them to go to the principal's office to talk. They didn't say anything but obediently followed. However, just arrived. The ninja suddenly fell as naturally as a fly onto the chair. Then asked the principal, "Where are we coming from?" Because he said he wanted to meet, but now he's not here. Tour guide Kim Suki didn't understand why, but his face was pale. But we all just sat and waited a little longer when he arrived. While the 2 girls stood up. "Please introduce yourself by name." Then the young man's father just sat still and scolded him. "You're really late. Waiting for you, I'm already sleepy." Oh my. Just one sentence made the old principal smile. Sincerity for the countryside blushes. The other 3 people were too shocked to speak. The 2 of them exchanged a few words. Only now did he begin to praise. "I have prepared a very attractive offer to make it up to you guys. So don't hate me." The guy's compliments were so fake that he couldn't swallow them. So just a sentence or 2 immediately urged him to come in immediately. The main problem Guja In is angry that Guja In doesn't say. Hanging on forever won't do any good. So he started announcing the 3 people. They will be able to stay in the dormitory for free. Not only can you use the facilities, but there is an advantage. That is when the test is not satisfactory. There will be a chance to do it again to change the outcome. Having said this, he immediately brought out the contract. Want them to sign it. But Min Ja-hun flatly refused. He knew the old fox was in front of him. How is the mind? So when you say it, it sounds interesting. But those rewards, just let us try. 1 month is enough to enjoy. Above all, Mew always prioritizes skills. Then, why do I have to sign a contract and pay a commission? Thinking that wasn't enough to expose him, he immediately snatched the papers from the principal's hand. Then the unmasking begins. After signing the contract, when working as a person who despises, oh my god, up to 5. In this year, 30 of the income will be given to the school. Principal Guja In. This is not a reward for us. This is more like exploiting us. Or do I understand wrong? Ninja Hun said so cruelly. He even stabbed his black heart several times. No way for the principal. We can only let them make the decision. And of course, the 2 girls' answers were no different from Ninja Hun's. It's come to this. He also had no choice but to start using the loophole of brainwashing. But he bumped into the wrong person. As soon as the system issues a warning, blessing of the pig, immediately enabled and disabled. Abnormal conditions. Next is to use the anti-card. Just received a copy of his brainwashing skills. Oh my gosh, I pinned it right from the start. You are still very green and young, despite having new skills in hand. But today's story will be put aside for now. Before there was hate, there was hate.
But now, les destroy the principal office.
It's so chaotic that Ninja Hun got what he needed. So let's tell everyone to judge right away. Everyone stayed in the subspace for a long time, so now I'm hungry. You came cool and you left fine. cooler than when it arrived. The tour guide Kim Suki stands guard at the door. It's only been a while. But because of this atmosphere, quail eggs are scared to death. He is tense. My face was covered in sweat and I didn't dare say a word. Students passing by greeted him. Then the 6 people pulled each other away. Meanwhile, the principal was like a time bomb. After being silent for a long time, I spoke up and told him to go out. God, Kim Suki was just waiting for something like that. Immediately glide away as fast as possible. But if you linger any longer, you will be cut down by fish lice. Yet a new day has come. First class for first-year students does not take place in the classroom, but in a much more spacious place. At this moment, a woman walked over. Stand in front of the crowd and introduce yourself.
The name is Kim Jin,
and currently working as a lecturer in the guidance department. Adjust Mana 1. Although in my previous life I studied here for a while. But it was the first time. Minja coughed seeing this woman. What's the matter? As for his memory, it was the teacher's. The instructions for dissecting the intestines are the same. They are like catfish that are always ready. Open your mouth wide and bite. Anything, old principal. Guja printed bribes for them. Having gone through a lifetime, he is no stranger to that anymore. Kim Jong walked past each person. Then he spoke loudly. I bet you guys are very confused. Wonder why? We're in a big facility like this, instead of a class. The reason is very simple. That's to test your mana sensitivity. After saying that, the doors opened one after another. The new students just saw the giant mass of mana. Immediately worried. Started competing with each other about what they were complaining about. Is that a block of mana? Shall we go in there? Is this too much for the first lesson? So why do you think you're different from the crowd? Min Jahan's face was calm. Because for you, this block of mana, similar to the block that Zo Sung-on creates, but it's much less mana. To reassure people now, lecturer Kim Jong once again raised his voice to pay attention. What you're seeing, it's a device called a mana room. Students like you, it was almost impossible to withstand a block of mana. So I just prepared this. According to her words, there are many rooms here. Mana density of the first room, just similar to normal atmosphere. But the later it gets, the higher it gets. Newbies can at most reach level 3. There are several types of criticism schools. Graduation preparation is very high. Is to reach level 7. Speaking of this, Kim Jong immediately told everyone to follow him inside. He also told me that if it's not okay, just raise your hand. Then there will be a teaching assistant to lead them out. I thought every year was different. Who would have thought it was level 3? More than half of the students gave up and wanted to come back. At level 7, it plummeted rapidly. The correct 4 numbers are the trio of monsters and red-clawed chickens, right? Young man with red bangs. Li Sui is still able to survive. There is one thing. When you pass level 8, there are only 2 people left. It's Seo Aina and Ninja Hun. But looking at his face is enough to understand. That girl is just trying hard. About to faint. Level 9 for first years is an unbearable level. Only for cattle, not humans. Even Seo Aina is no exception, starting to lose sight. I almost fell. It looks like the student is not okay. Lecturer Kim Jong wanted to run to help. But then I thought about the words of the principal of Guja Inn. Remember this lecturer Kim Jong. No matter what situation students fall into, no matter what, also never ask for help first. Crisis, as well as an opportunity for students. If you take away that opportunity, isn't that a very sad thing? In the end, she just gritted her teeth. Even if you want to help, don't dare to act on your own. On this side, Seo Aina could no longer resist. But she's stubborn and doesn't want to lose. In the world of the fox and her grapes, only the strong survive. No matter how good you are, there will come a time. Must also be defeated at the feet of others. But the life she saw a little bit was too late. Seo Aina was taken off the field by ambulance, while the ninja Hun calmly entered level 10. In theory, this is the most difficult level. Not a single student could breathe. So Kim Jong just saw you walking by. Immediately ran over to ask. Ninja-hun, are you okay? He stood still. I've been here for about a minute, so it's already hard to hold on. You are so uncool. The ninja-hun turned towards the lecturer. Then gave a bland smile. But saying this is too difficult for me. I will leave here. Kim Jong heard that and immediately followed. So let's go together. In my opinion, that's just what her mouth said. That fake look on his face. Looking at it, you already know how to lie. Obviously difficult to say. But not even a drop of sweat was shed. So who can believe it? The mana check is complete. Now Kim Jong stood in front of the crowd and spoke. Ninja-hun has reached level 11 mana room. Only a level conqueror can reach that level. So that means he can go even higher. I really hope everyone does their best to catch up. The first class went by smoothly like that. That evening, the rich lady called to check on the situation. However, after a while we still have to get to the main story. That at school. Is there anyone notable for her to recruit? And of course, if additional information is provided, then you will definitely be rewarded. The names were mentioned one after another. Go look back. They are all famous characters like Seo Aina, Kim Jo-young and Hone. In the end, it was the person he liked the most. It's Lee Ji-sang. Zoe was grateful to know that person, so he immediately decided to refuse. He is the youngest son of an S-class conqueror. Lee Ji-sun, right? I heard he's not as talented as his siblings. But if we take him, then it will conflict with Lee Ji-sun's association. Mi Ja-hun heard that. Determined to win over people. Lee Dae-sang will soon become the best alchemist in that world. Having said that, I agree. She just ended the call not long ago. Then Park Sue's manager came in. Notice that Baek Ji-hyun is coming to find you. After obtaining approval from the association president. Then a noble blonde woman appeared. She held out her hand to Zo Sung-on and said, "Hello." The old lady hasn't seen the guild leader Joseph for a long time. Sung-on ignored the handshake, then smiled gently and replied, "I don't think we're that close. Sit down and wait until that luxurious Bonbio sits down. Thank you for asking. Let's talk about what the president wants from me."
Big Ji-hun replied.
Now let me say it straight. I noticed one of your students. How handsome he is. Why do you talk so senselessly like Miss Italy baby? Zo Sung-on's face turned sour and he began to speak out to chase away the guests. That's bad. Place. We do not treat guild members as commodities. Why don't you try looking elsewhere? Stop for a moment. Thankful continued. There are many things in this world that cannot be bought with money. You understand what I mean? Baek Ji-hyun felt guilty when he heard those blunt words. She said that she came here to discuss. Just a minimum courtesy. Bad luck for her when she touches a saint. Cursing the next day is like a grateful Zoe. So he immediately received a sentence like a slap in the face. That minimum courtesy of yours is quite rude, girl. This transaction went nowhere. The two women don't like each other. But it is imperative to keep the industrial smile on their mouths. Continue to exchange a few jabs. Then just send the guest home. To avoid wasting time. Return to the main south. The next day was the day of the physical ability test. Look at the rankings. Ninja-hun has a bit 7. I'm disappointed that I'm ranked second only to my friend. And Ho-aeon genius. You know it well. I shouldn't be too eager to prove myself. However, your old man is about to beat his ass. If he doesn't get stronger, he will die as soon as he did in his previous life. Their lecturer who lost today was Kim Suk. He looked at that achievement board and was a little panicked. Because this is not that kind of strength, which a normal magician can't possess. He stood in front of the crowd of students and announced, "Now, we will begin with the physical ability test. The second is to escape the room." As Kim Suki explained, then it's their duty, is to take the escape test. Here the match measurement system A is behind. They will improve their fighting ability. through virtual reality matches. Normally, it will be left to the students to analyze the situations themselves, when fighting monsters, or different entities. But with this test, then need to test their escape skills. Defeating monsters, of course. It will also help students receive higher scores. There is only one way to escape. After explaining clearly, he immediately distributed it. For all the people in front of me, a receiver used to display virtual reality. Its use is to stimulate the brain. Makes the monsters appear through the projector. Feels more realistic. Kim Suki looked at them and continued. This system has 1,100 levels. But today we will only stop at level 14. People in a group will take the test together. Ninja Hun's group consists of 2 girls in the warrior martial arts class, and 2 boys in magic class. They haven't even started yet. Teenagers have just grown up. Li Sui has come to find trouble. He asked this guy, how does a person become a mage? Can be at the top again. I think there must be some special reason. Can you tell me? Now, it's a bit strange to admit that I got dirty buffs. Ninja Hun showed an unpleasant expression and immediately responded. What if I don't have a special reason like you said? Why don't you say it from the beginning? It's you who wants to duel with me. Let people be gentle and not want to. Young people have not yet finished listening to lives experiences. Then start showing attitude. Poke the dog, oh my. You understand so quickly that I like it very much. Seeing both of them as tense as guitar strings. 2 girls in the team quickly went to intervene. What a coincidence. Tour guide Kim Suki announced that it's the team's turn. The ninja rushed to take the test. We all heard that. Then move one by one to the specified location. Then took out his weapon and prepared to fight. After 5 seconds countdown, the ghost bones were immediately summoned. Different from normal young magician Li Sui. Then Bin Duong youth Min Ja-hun immediately rushed to close in on the enemy. The 2 female warriors saw this and worriedly shouted Ja-hun ah. Very dangerous. Not just them. Li Sui also thinks that a mage that just rushes straight into close combat, then nothing will be done. Meanwhile, the Ninja Hun on this side has another plan. Instead of double buffalo, she wasted her time with the Li Sui chicken. Then you'd better unleash your force on these zombies. Once Li Sui saw what you were capable of, then he won't dare to cause trouble with you anymore. Think and do it right away. The ninja's hand emitted billowing mana. Boldly crushed the head. The monster just appeared. It wasn't even a few seconds before the surprise of everyone. Demon bones are continuously summoned. He didn't want to stop there either, but suddenly rushed to attack another bone ghost. Successful people always have their own path. Ninja Hun uses something called mana weapons, but few people learn to capture each monster's head. It was a skill that could increase physical damage. But those magicians specialize in long-range combat. Definitely won't bother using it anymore.